In the apocalypse, everyone awakened to supernatural abilities. Some could control water, others could spit fire. But my ability was depriving Zhang Chang of his powers. Yes, I could only strip the abilities of people named Zhang Chang. 3 years passed, and not only did I never encounter a single Zhang Chang, but I was also bullied and oppressed for having a useless ability. Later, while scavenging for trash in the slums, I reunited with my best friend, who was begging for food. We hugged and cried together. My friend wailed, "Why are everyone else's abilities so awesome, while mine only lets me rename others to Zhang Chang?" I froze. What did you say? After the apocalypse began, I survived by scavenging trash in the slums. Every day, I endured wind and rain, eating irregularly, and getting robbed every few days. Watching a sharp-faced man snatch the piece of bread I had just found, my feet felt as heavy as lead, unable to move. That was his ability. The man kicked me to the ground, laughing loudly. In this day and age, there are still useless people who haven't awakened their abilities. How have you survived until now? The retort on my lips was swallowed back down. I immediately scrambled up, putting on a sycophantic smile. Brother, your ability is truly impressive. What should I call you? From now on, if I find anything good, I'll save it for you. Smart move. From now on, bring anything good to the back of the pharmacy. Listen carefully. The name is Zhang Chang. My eyes widened suddenly. Chang. Zhang Qiangqiang. After that damned Zhang Qiangqiang left, I couldn't hold back my tears. After the apocalypse began, plants and animals mutated, and the surviving humans all awakened abilities. From then on, society's hierarchy was reordered based on the strength of these abilities. Some abilities were extraordinary, like controlling water or fire, while others were unremarkable, like duplication or telekinesis. But my ability was to strip Zhang Chang of his power. Yes, I could only strip the abilities of people named Zhang Chang. 3 years had passed, and I hadn't encountered a single Zhang Chang. That guy just now was the closest I'd ever come to success. But damn it, why was his name Zhang Qiangqiang? What use was this useless ability of mine in the apocalypse? Before the apocalypse, I was at least a white-collar worker in a big city. Now, anyone could step on me, and I didn't know how much longer I could survive in this dog-eat-dog world. Cursing under my breath, I prepared to head back to my drafty garbage station. Just as I exited the alley, I saw someone carrying a bag with a hole in it, and a pack of compressed biscuits fell out. My eyes lit up as I lunged for it, but just as I touched the biscuits, someone rushed over and grabbed the other end. Neither of us let go. Suddenly, the other person burst out crying, "Please, have mercy. I haven't eaten in 5 days. I'm starving to death." That voice. I took a closer look. The person in front of me, with disheveled hair, gaunt and yellowed skin, and reeking of stench, wasn't that my missing best friend? Anna. Anna. She looked at me, her eyes widening too. Chen Jiao. We immediately hugged each other and burst into tears. "Where have you been? I've been searching everywhere for news of you. I was captured by a group of people for research. They thought my ability was useless, so they threw me out." Anna munched on the compressed biscuits as she recounted her experiences over the years. It turned out that shortly after the apocalypse began, some organizations started researching abilities, randomly kidnapping people. But Anna's ability was so useless that they deemed it worthless for research and let her go. I didn't quite believe that. Could it be less useful than mine? I had survived this long without meeting anyone more useless than me. I sincerely comforted her. "Don't say that. No matter how useless your ability is, it can't be less useful than mine." She firmly retorted. "Impossible. Trust me. No. I'm truly useless." We were still arguing over who was more useless when a child floated past us on the roadside. Yes, that was his flying ability. Anna completely broke down. Snot and tears streaming down her face. Biscuit crumbs flying everywhere. She wailed. Why are everyone else's abilities so awesome, while all I can do is change people's names to Zhang Chang? My hand, patting her back, suddenly froze. I stood there, stunned. What did you say? Anna was still wailing. Even a dog can guard the house. What harm is there in me changing someone's name? Can I bore them to death with it? She cried and cried, then suddenly thought of something, turned her head, and looked at me with expectation. You said your ability is even more useless. What is it? I could only feel the blood in my veins boiling. Trembling, I grabbed Anna's hand and wept with excitement. Before today, our abilities were worthless. But after today, we will be unstoppable. Anna looked at me and burst into tears. I just found you, and you've already gone crazy. It wasn't until she heard my full explanation that she blurted out holy crap. Several times. You can strip the ability from anyone named Zhang Chang. Are there any conditions to trigger it? I choked up. Because I had never used this ability before. If Anna hadn't mentioned it, I would have almost forgotten there were conditions. There are. My expression turned complicated. As long as Zhang Chang hits me, his ability becomes mine. What are your conditions? Anna's expression mirrored mine exactly. She tugged at her hair. I have to hit someone and shout a slogan. After deliberating for a while, we decided to give it a try. I took Anna to the back of the pharmacy and knocked on Zhang Qiangqiang's door. Zhang Qiangqiang's ability made people's legs go weak. Also pretty useless. So he wasn't doing well for himself. When he opened the door, he was eating the bread he had snatched from my hands. Seeing me, he looked a bit surprised. Little sis, really bringing your big brother something good? Seeing I had nothing in my hands, Zhang Qiangqiang's expression gradually turned lecherous. Got it. You're offering yourself to your big brother. Then I'll. He reached out toward me, but before his hand could touch my face, Anna, who was behind me, suddenly lunged out and slapped him across the face. So you're the Zhang Chang. Huh. Zhang Qiangqiang was stunned by the slap. No, I'm not called. He wanted to say he wasn't named Zhang Chang. But for some reason, the words just wouldn't come out. Finally, he nodded blankly. Yeah. Right. I'm Zhang Chang. Anna and I exchanged a glance. Tears of excitement welled up in our eyes. The first Zhang Chang. I had finally encountered him. Zhang Chang snapped back to reality after being hit and immediately flew into a rage. How dare you hit me? He raised his hand and swung. The moment his slap came flying, I deliberately leaned into the blow. Smack. He was stunned. I was crying. This was the feeling. I had gained his ability to make people's legs go weak and tried it out on the spot. It wasn't until Zhang Qiangqiang collapsed to the ground that he realized his ability was gone. By then, we had already fled the scene. After we got out, Anna firmly gripped my hand and said, "From now on, you don't have to tough it out alone. I'll bring you plenty of people renamed Zhang Chang." We reached a consensus. In this world now, strength is the only thing that matters. And we had to collect more and stronger abilities as fast as possible. But I also had my bottom line. I only took abilities from bad people. Where could we find the most dangerous criminals? Definitely the underground fight ring outside the slums, where wanted desperados gathered. They locked people with weak abilities in cages and made them fight to the death, betting on them like cockfights. The next day, Anna and I rested and prepared. I got her iron gloves, and she fitted me with a steel helmet. Without the protection of the slums, high walls, dangerous mutant animals roamed outside at night, so we reached the underground fight ring before sunset. I pounded on the door, and to my utter surprise, the person who opened it was someone I knew. Anna grabbed my arm sharply. Holy crap, isn't that your boyfriend? I corrected her. Ex-boyfriend, thanks. Wang Tao only noticed me beside Anna when he saw her. He clicked his tongue twice. Chen Jiao, are you wearing a helmet because your face is disfigured? What did I tell you? Without an ability, you can't survive the apocalypse. And you still dared to leave on your own back then. Before the apocalypse, Wang Tao's salary was only a fifth of mine. He lived in my house, drove my car, pretended to be hardworking and capable, and fawned over me endlessly. Until he awakened an ability to enlarge or shrink parts of people's bodies. He assumed I was just a useless person without an ability who would hold him back. So he dumped me on the spot. He even found a new girlfriend who was his match. One who could make parts of people hard or soft. Back then, With his arm around his new girlfriend, he said to me condescendingly, "Considering you served me for years, you might as well follow me too." I immediately slapped him and walked away. Little did I expect, when we met again, he was working at the underground fight ring. Just then his girlfriend came out too, and upon seeing me, she sneered, "Oh, a useless thing like her without an ability can still be alive. She must have used her body to please plenty of men." Before she could finish, Anna slapped her with her iron glove. "So you're the bitch named Zhang Chang." The woman's face visibly swelled, but she didn't know what Anna's ability was. Seeing how arrogant she was, she didn't dare act rashly and turned to hide in Wang Tao's arms in anger. "Honey, she hit me. Boo-hoo." Wang Tao comforted her lovingly. "Hubby will get revenge for you. Don't cry, little Qiang." The woman looked confused. "What did you call me? Aren't you Zhang Chang?" The woman, "I guess so." Wang Tao sneered at us. "It's too late for you to beg for mercy on your knees now." Before he finished, Anna slapped his face sideways with one blow, and I followed right behind, charging hard with my steel helmet into the two of them. Newton's third law. If I rammed into them, that technically meant they hit me too, right? Wang Tao was knocked to the ground by me. He snapped back to reality, hugged his girlfriend, and exploded with rage. "Are you too crazy? Looking for a fight? Huh? Fine. Then I'll let you experience my ability." Just as he was about to activate it, he suddenly felt something wrong. His face turned deathly pale. "What's going on? Where's my ability?" The woman beside him panicked too. "Mine's gone too." Both of them were filled with terror. I calmly took off my helmet and waved at them. "You two have never tried your own abilities, have you?" Their abilities activation condition was much simpler. Just stare at the part you want to change, and it could be used twice a day. So I stared at the bastard's lower body and grinned. "Shrink, shrink." Wang Tao suddenly sensed the change in his body. His face shifted, and he pulled down his pants in shock. "Chen Jiao, what did you do?" As we spoke, the commotion we caused had already drawn attention from inside the underground fight ring. Soon someone charged straight at me, daring to cause trouble at the underground fight ring. "You're asking for death." The moment he said that, he collapsed in front of me. Anna said in disbelief, "How did you do that?" I said, "Used the bastard's ability." But I didn't see anything on him grow or shrink. It did change. I pointed at his head and said, "I shrank his cerebellum." Anna silently gave a thumbs up. Some people tried to step forward, but Anna struck left and right, slapping one after another. "So you're the bastard called Zhang Chang." I then stepped up, using the interaction of forces, and took the hits voluntarily. After dealing with over a dozen, the ones behind didn't dare move anymore. And in an instant, I gained over a dozen superpowers in my body. They stared at me like I was a monster, scrambling to run inside. "Boss, someone's here to cause trouble." Anna and I walked in, surrounded by a circle of people, yet no one dared to get close. Until we reached the darkest area, where cages for holding people were placed all around. A bald, burly man with a bare upper body, his blue dragon and white tiger tattoos looking especially intimidating, was wiping a knife, with a tall, skinny guy standing beside him. Anna shrank behind me in fear. A lackey nearby said excitedly, "Our boss is making a move, you're done for." The tall, skinny guy walked over, looking at us with a cold sneer. He said, "Do you know what my superpower is?" I answered truthfully, "Not right now, but I will in a moment." "If I take your superpower, won't I know?" Clearly, he misunderstood me. After inexplicably circling around us once, he suddenly laughed at Anna. "Ha ha 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 ha. This is the first time I've seen such a useless superpower. And you dare to come cause trouble at the underground fight ring?" Oh, so his superpower was seeing through others. Superpowers. The lackey nearby immediately reminded him, "Watch out for the one beside her. Her superpower seems to temporarily disable others' powers." Sigh. "Kid, you're too shallow." The tall, skinny guy didn't take it seriously. "Let me take a look at her superpower." He circled around me, muttering, "Legs soften, enlarge, shrink, Pardon. Telekinesis. Sharpshooting. Decibel attack. My real superpower was ranked after those stolen ones. And the tall, skinny guy looked for a long time without seeing the end. He was so scared he dropped to his knees. He said to the bald boss, "Boss, let's just admit defeat." The boss spat. "Pa, a woman, and you're scared?" "No. I've never seen one person with so many superpowers, she's a walking exploit." But the boss didn't believe it. He came over with his knife. And then, before he could react, Anna slapped him across the face. Half an hour later, I sat in his original seat. Sparks crackling from my fingertips. No wonder this bald guy could be the boss. Making hundreds of people willingly risk their lives, his superpower was controlling lightning. The top-tier power in this world being control over natural elements. Before enemies could even get close, he'd electrocute them numb. Several rows of people stood respectfully in front of me. One row had their powers stripped. The other row hadn't. I waved my hand grandly. "From today on, I'm your new boss. This is no longer an underground fight ring, we're starting a community security company." Anna stood beside me, shouting in a shrill voice, "Those willing can stay. Food and board included. Those unwilling, change your name to Zhang Chong." Everyone had seen what happened to those named Zhang Chong. In this world, without superpowers, you're useless. As long as you still have powers, what difference does it make who you work for? Those who had been hesitating immediately nodded like pounding garlic. We're willing. We're willing." Even those whose powers I'd taken were willing to stay and work in logistics at the factory. Anna was thrilled and whispered in my ear, "Ever since I was a kid watching TV, I thought the eunuchs beside the emperor were so impressive. Finally, I've become one without the pain." I waved her over. "Come to my room tomorrow, and I'll give you a good time." Anna looked at me in horror. She covered her chest with her hands. On the second day at the underground fight ring, indescribable sounds came from my room. "Ah, so big. I can't take it. I love it. I love it. I want more. Ah, I'm crazy about you." In front of the mirror, Anna looked satisfied at her enlarged chest, her face glowing. "Great, great. I've been flat-chested for over 20 years, and this is the first time they're this big. Quick, I want a perky butt too." Then, using Wang Tao's ability to enlarge or shrink things, I made Anna's butt perkier. Wang Tao probably never imagined his power could be used for cosmetic enhancement. Too bad it can only be used twice a day. Tomorrow, I still need to slim Anna's face and waist. The day after, I'll give her a perky nose and fuller lips. I also studied the bald boss's lightning control ability and discovered a new use. "Come on, lie down." I rolled up my sleeves and patted the bed. Anna immediately lay down. I moved my fingers, sending out crackling sparks. "You always have back pain, right? Let me give you an electrifying massage." As Anna hummed in comfort, she sighed. "By the way, can you discharge electricity from anywhere on your body?" "Seems like it. Why? It would be great if you were a man." Anna turned her head to look at me, her eyes full of regret. I slapped her head back down. "I think you're just hungry." Turning the underground fight ring into Zhang Chong's security company first required advertising. So after settling in, I took everyone to the slums for charity work. From dealing with street thugs and mutant beasts to helping old ladies cross the street. I also persuaded those using their powers to rob and kill to surrender. If they didn't, then they'd be renamed Zhang Chong. Before long, the factory had more and more underlings, and rumors spread among the people about a mysterious organization doing good deeds without expecting anything in return, where everyone was called Zhang Chong. I heard even the old folks teaching kids songs went, "Learn from Zhang Chong." A good example. Our reputation outside was good, but with more people came more trouble. Several people had already come to complain. Zhang Chong and Zhang Chong got into a fight because Zhang Chong said Zhang Chong wasn't as good as Zhang Chong. And this must have been stirred up by Zhang Chong, who's from the same hometown as Zhang Chong. My head was spinning. I suddenly realized this couldn't go on. Having everyone named Zhang Chong was total chaos. No organization. No discipline. So Anna and I gathered everyone who had been renamed Zhang Chong. Wang Tao was now convinced his name was Zhang Chong. So I had to say, you. Real name Zhang Chong. Nickname, Weakling Chong. Then pointing to his new girlfriend. You. Call her strong woman. The one with dyed yellow hair became yellow hair Chong. The one with earrings became earring Chong. Anna and I gave everyone nicknames based on their traits. Finally, it was the bald boss's turn. You're Bald Chong. Good. Everyone remember your nicknames. From now on in the company, only use nicknames, not real names. After resolving the internal conflict, a security guard outside suddenly stumbled in. Panicked. Boss. Someone's here to cause trouble. TSK. I frowned. Civilized. We're a legitimate company. What do you mean, cause trouble? It's called corporate exchange. Until I saw the two men, one in black and one in white, clearly up to no good. Oh, they really were here to cause trouble. The two men casually looked over my place, already turning their noses up at the decor and furnishings, as if it already belonged to them. How rude. Xiao Hei spotted our group coming out and asked lazily, "Who's the boss here?" Everyone took a synchronized step back, leaving me standing alone at the front. You? A woman? Ha 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 ha. The two burst out laughing. All you big men, willingly following a woman around, have you no ambition at all? My Zhang Chong crew behind me warned cautiously. I'd advise you to stop talking. I'll say what I want. Is this woman's ability really that strong? None of you can take down one woman. The Zhang Chong crew took another step back. Only the tall, skinny one stepped forward and whispered, "Boss. Their abilities are one who controls water and one who controls fire. Neither is easy to deal with." I feigned calm and waved a hand. Minor issue. After the skinny one backed off, Anna quietly sidled up with a grim expression. They're coming in hot. I doubt I can get close. I'm afraid I'll get roasted the moment I step in. I waved my hand again. Minor issue. Anna jabbed me in the ribs with her elbow. Who are you trying to show off to? I had to give her a look. Don't worry for now. I've got over 20 abilities on hand. After all. But to my surprise, Xiao Hei and Xiao Bai wouldn't let anyone get close. So many abilities couldn't be triggered. The few harmless ones I used only drew their mockery. That's it. I thought you were something special. Ha. Not playing with you anymore. Once we take you out, this turf is ours. They exchanged a glance. One unleashed a fire ability, the other a water ability. I held my breath and focused. Now. I raised my hand and summoned bolts of lightning to strike them. The two didn't take it seriously at all. A strong water shield can block lightning, didn't you know? As the massive water shield rose, they wore triumphant smiles. The next second, a giant mushroom cloud erupted midair with a deafening blast. When the smoke cleared, Xiao Hei and Xiao Bai lay on the ground, charred black, coughing out a wisp of dark smoke. Why? How did this happen? I clapped my hands and mused. Water electrolyzes into hydrogen and oxygen, and that meets fire, causing an explosion. Master your science and math. And even the apocalypse won't scare you. My chemistry teacher wasn't lying. Abilities may have their strengths and weaknesses, but it all comes down to who wields them. The two lay on the ground, then suddenly scrambled up and started brawling. It's your fault. If you'd taken her out sooner, would we have gotten blown up? It's your fault. You're the one who set the fire. They went at each other relentlessly. I grinned. Wang Tao's ability was really handy. I just shrank their egos a bit, and now they're tearing each other apart. I waved Anna over. She hopped over and gave each of them a slap, dubbing them Zhang Chong. After successfully absorbing the fire and water abilities, I led the Zhang Chong crew to close the gate, when suddenly a foot wedged itself in the door crack. Another troublemaker. Are you here too? My gaze traveled upward, and I froze. What a damn handsome face. The word trouble never left my lips. I just flipped my hair and said, "Looking for a date." Handsome. The man stood tall with sharp, handsome features, wearing a simple, clean white t-shirt, exuding an inexplicable sense of pressure. He gave a distant smile. "I'm here looking for work. Are you the boss here? I don't suppose you're short on people." Before I could say anything, Anna darted out first. "We are. You look really familiar. What's your name? Handsome. Han Yen. Han Yen said he'd gotten separated from his friends and, since it was too dangerous out there alone, wanted to find a place to stay for now. He'd heard everyone here was good people, so he came looking. I was pretty proud of that. Under my management, the underground fight ring had really earned a fine reputation far and wide. Han Yan's ability was duplication. He could split into an identical copy of himself. Honestly, that ability was pretty useless too. That evening, the Zhangchang crew came to me in unison with their objections. This Han Yan's ability is really weak. Why are we taking him in? But he's handsome. Our company can't afford to feed another mouth. But he's handsome. We don't even have extra work for him. But he's handsome. They were speechless. You're just into him, aren't you? I was shocked. Is it that obvious? You've been pacing outside his door for half an hour. Suddenly, the sound of a door opening came from the room, and I quickly dragged the group away from the scene. Han Yen was genuinely handsome. Before the apocalypse, I'd only ever seen guys like him on TV. The moment I laid eyes on him, my heart stirred, love at first sight. Anna was also egging me on to snag him. His ability seems useless, but it's actually insane. I didn't get it. What do you mean? Anna said sagely. Duplication. Duh. So then, one of him in front, one behind, and you can grow bigger or smaller, go soft or hard. And add some electricity. Before she could finish, I clamped my hand over her mouth. I never should have let her get so hooked on those steamy novels back in the day. I was genuinely tempted, but I'd never chased a man in my life. And I wasn't confident about it, so I thought about using a little cheat. I searched through my ability library and found one I'd collected at some point called, I See Through You. Judging by the name, it should be something like mind reading, right? It wasn't the most ethical move, but if I could find out what kind of girl Han Yen liked, wouldn't that give me the perfect answer? To use this ability, I had to face the person directly, so I knocked on Han Yen's door. He'd been out with the others the past couple days clearing out mutant animals. He'd just finished showering, water still dripping from the tips of his hair, wearing a white t-shirt and black pants, a clean, refreshing look. Boss. He called me politely. Is something up? Nothing. Just here to check on the new employee's basic info. Is that okay? Han Yen nodded. I casually made small talk while secretly activating the I See Through You ability. How old are you this year? 26. Heh. First time eavesdropping on someone's inner thoughts. And I was a little excited. The ability triggered successfully. I casually glanced over and froze on the spot. The Han Yen who'd just been in a white t-shirt and black pants now appeared to me with his upper body bare, revealing smooth, defined pectorals, water dripping from his hair trailing down his collarbone. Further down, a standard 8-pack. Further down, an alluring V-line. Continuing lower. My eyes went wide. That's huge. Han Yen looked a bit confused. Is my age too old? Sorry. I didn't know you had such strict age limits for hiring. Before he could finish, he suddenly gasped. You're bleeding from your nose. I snapped back to reality, sniffled, and covered my nose. I'm fine. It's just dry weather. Then I turned and bolted. Who could have seen that coming? I See Through You wasn't mind reading, it was literal. X-ray vision. Damn it. Whose ability was this? That's intense. Seeing that I couldn't win Han Yen over on my own, Anna claimed she had plenty of experience and came up with an idea for me. A few days later, Han Yen twisted his waist while dealing with mutated animals outside with the others. The only doctor in the factory took a leave of absence at my signal, and I, holding a bottle of medicinal wine, knocked on Han Yen's door with ill intentions. Seeing me, he looked a bit surprised. Boss, I know a bit about massage. How about I give you one? Just as Han Yen was about to refuse, I added, after all, if you don't recover soon, you won't be able to help everyone either. Han Yen paused for a moment, then stepped aside to let me in. His room was tiny, just a spare storage space. His 1.8-meter frame lying on the single bed looked cramped and made my heart race. I pretended to be calm as I placed my hands on his lean, powerful waist. Remembering the method Anna taught me, I cleared my throat. Do you believe in love at first sight? What? I heard that the feeling of love at first sight is like, when you see that person, it's as if an electric current runs through your whole body. Han Yen turned his head and gave me a puzzled look. The moment our eyes met, I secretly used my ability to give him a small shock. Ah! Han Yen let out an unexpected muffled groan, which was oddly tantalizing, and I could see his ears turning red. I asked knowingly, "What's wrong?" "Nothing." He lay back down, acting as if nothing had happened. "Ha, you little rascal. Quite good at pretending." I pressed on his waist and shocked him again. This time, he endured it without making a sound. "You didn't feel any electric current just now." "I didn't feel anything." "Oh, my stubborn temper." I increased the intensity and pressed both hands hard on his waist. The next second, I felt my whole body go numb, went limp, and passed out right next to Han Yen. It wasn't until an hour later that Anna deliberately burst into the room with a group of people, and they saw me lying on the bed with Han Yen. Han Yen was bare-chested, and my face was flushed. "Oh my! I didn't know you two were busy. Everyone, get out quickly." Everyone scrambled out of the room. Only Han Yen and I, who had just regained consciousness, were left staring at each other. He seemed to realize something, and the tips of his ears instantly turned red. He said in a low voice, "I'll take responsibility for you." Ah! I was about to say "don't misunderstand," but I swallowed those words and changed my tone. "That works too." Afterward, Anna asked me how I'd made such fast progress and even ended up in bed with him. I was too embarrassed to admit that I'd accidentally knocked myself out too, but at least I'd managed to win him over. I declared I'd find someone for Anna as well. With her figure, now perfected by my modifications, she deserved at least a younger version of Daniel Wu. "Forget it." Anna smiled nonchalantly. "I've had my fun in the past. I'm not going to waste energy on romance now. After all, who knows how much longer this world will even last." After Han Yen recovered from his injuries, he went out with several ability squads to help the slums deal with dangerous mutated animals. I had just developed feelings for him and was completely infatuated, so I followed along. The once bustling and lively streets were now in complete disarray. Cracks running through the ground and shop windows shattered all over. Han Yen picked up a plush toy from the ground and gave it to me. Who knows how much longer before these things disappear completely. I glanced at the crumbling high-rises and suddenly thought of the days when I used to work in an office building. Back then, work was so stressful that I'd constantly complain about wanting the world to end. I never thought it would actually happen one day. I really wish I could work overtime one more time. "Han Yen, what did you do for work before?" Han Yen froze for a moment, then looked away. "Just an ordinary job." I didn't ask any more questions. I noticed a dusty rabbit keychain in the corner, something Anna would like, so I picked it up and brought it along. In the evening, even the apocalyptic sunset looked gray and hazy. When we got back, Anna was sitting on the rooftop, swinging her legs. I nearly had a heart attack. "Anna." She waved at me as if nothing was wrong. "Chen Jiao." I ran up and sat down beside her. "What are you doing up here?" "Watching the sunset." Anna pointed toward the horizon. "Just a moment ago, it looked a lot like the sunsets from before. I really miss the old days, when we could just go to the amusement park, watch movies, and eat hot pot whenever we wanted." I looked at Anna's profile and suddenly realized I'd been neglecting her feelings these past few days. Anna's ability was only to rename people. If we weren't together, she'd have no way to protect herself at all. She must be feeling really insecure. "Not at all." Anna shook her head directly at my question. "You know I've always been a slacker. If I can lie down, I won't stand. If I can hide, I won't show my face. Now that you're out front handling things and I get to be your sidekick, that's literally my dream. Besides, the people who stay in this factory now are all ordinary folks who lost their abilities, no different from me. If anything, I feel like I'm back in normal society." I finally breathed a sigh of relief. I took her hand and said seriously, "If anything happens, you have to tell me." You're the only family I have left. Anna paused, then nodded. Actually, there is one thing. My heart skipped a beat. What? She leaned in with a serious look and whispered in my ear. Han Yan's clones, have you actually tried them yet? I'll try them tonight. I heard that I wasn't feeling well. So Han Yan hurried to my room. Until he saw me wearing a flimsy nightgown, lying on the bed and striking a deliberate pose. He fell silent for a moment. Chen Jiao, I need to talk to you about something. I waved him over. Lie down and talk. I'm serious. Then lie down and talk seriously. Han Yan lay down beside me. Before he could say a word, I pounced and covered his mouth. Forgot to mention, there's a rule in the factory. No talking while eating. No speaking while sleeping. Han Yan looked at me with an unreadable expression. The next second, he flipped over and pinned me beneath him, his breathing growing rapid. I wrapped my arms around his neck and whispered in his ear, if you're too tired doing it alone, why not use your ability? Han Yan's body stiffened, his voice noticeably hoarse. No need for two. I was about to say more, but Han Yan, as if eager to prove something, angrily pressed his lips to mine. The next moment, his hand pulled down my nightgown. His palm pressed against my shoulder, burning hot, moving downward, conquering territory. I was overwhelmed by his fierce assault, losing all my defenses. All night, my mind kept replaying that he was exactly as I had seen. Not just for show. I had originally thought about using the ability to enlarge, shrink, soften, or harden. Good grief. If I used that, I'd be done for. As dawn approached, Han Yan held me, unable to sleep. I wasn't sleepy either. You said earlier you had something serious to discuss. Go ahead now. Han Yan looked a bit helpless. Now isn't the right time. Is it? Why isn't it? We're being completely open with each other. His face immediately turned red. Before he could recover, he heard my next words. Besides, you've been scheming to get close to me all along. Isn't this exactly what you wanted? Han Yan froze. I sighed. Han Yan probably didn't know that among my abilities, there was one that could detect the activation of abilities around me. Ever since Han Yan arrived, he would split into a clone every few days, only to return during the day. Based on my observations over the past few days, he had no other goal but to get close to me, and during the day. When I asked him about his job, he said it was an ordinary one. That alone proved his job was anything but ordinary. Han Yan remained silent for a long moment before saying, do you want the world to return to how it was? I widened my eyes. The world could actually return to normal after the apocalypse. No way. How? Han Yan frowned slightly and said, you asked about my job before. Actually, I work in genetic research. Since the apocalypse began, the country had gathered a group of researchers to conduct secret studies, trying to slow down the world's destruction. Han Yan and his team had been researching for 3 years, only making progress recently. The mutations in all other living things were caused by human superpowers. I couldn't understand those terms, but basically, if superpowers disappeared from the world, the entire ecosystem would slowly return to normal. Han Yan noticed me because he had visited the slums and encountered Zhang Qiangqiang. Even after losing his superpower, he still threw his weight around with his physique, boasting, my old superpower was awesome. It'd scare you to death if I told you. Too bad 2 crazy women stole it. This was the first time Han Yan had heard that superpowers could disappear since joining the research. So he followed the trail and found the underground fight ring. After witnessing me defeat Xiao He and Xiao Bai, he decided to approach me first and figure things out. I pulled away from Han Yan's arms and silently distanced myself. So, what have you figured out during this time? There was a few seconds of silence behind me. Then Han Yan's voice came. You can steal others' superpowers and store them in your body, with no upper limit. So, if I take away everyone's superpowers, there won't be any superpowers left in this world, and the world can return to normal. Han Yan nodded. I found it a bit amusing. But then, I'd be the only one in the world with superpowers. What do you plan to do with me? This container? Don't tell me you think I'll obediently die when I'm invincible. No. Han Yen frowned slightly. We've developed a gene pod that can eliminate your superpowers through external force. If you can just eliminate them directly, why do you need me? There's only one gene pod. But we're out of time. I froze. What do you mean? According to predictions, the real apocalypse will arrive in a month. I was still processing. But I'm just one person. Even if I wanted to, I couldn't steal everyone's superpowers in a month. Han Yen grabbed my wrist. If you have my superpower, you can. What difference does it make if it's two people? Han Yen chuckled. Who said I can only split into two? Huh. In the next minute, I watched as Han Yen in the room went from 1 to 2, 2 to 4, until the room was packed. I was petrified. Damn. His clones could split further. Even copy-paste wasn't faster than this. He alone was an army. This was way too overpowered. All the Han Yen clones in the room spoke at once. And that gene pod that can eliminate superpowers comes with risks. My head was spinning. What do you mean? He paused. There's an 80% chance you'll die. For the next 2 days. I didn't mention a word about it, as if it had never happened. I also took the time to visit the slums. The place I used to live was right by the garbage dump, and this time I ran into an old neighbor, Uncle Yang, whose ability was to make flowers bloom. Since this ability was pretty useless, he, like me, had been barely scraping by. Later, when I became stronger, I helped him find a place to live. Seeing me again, Uncle Yang was overjoyed. Long time no see, he said. I sat down beside him casually and replied, yeah, I've been really busy. Why are you back at the dump? Just taking a look, he said, turning to gaze at the stinking garbage dump, as if seeing through the trash to what it used to be. This place wasn't always a dump. It used to be a botanical garden, and I took care of it. I was really good with plants, no matter how delicate. I could keep them thriving. Back then, the garden was always full of people. They'd take photos among the flowers and drink floral tea. Many people praised my floral tea. It's a shame you never got to try it. Later, I guess I spent too much time with plants, and my ability turned out to be making flowers bloom. But without healthy soil and water, how could any flower survive? I listened quietly. I watched the few people wandering the streets, their faces heavy, not a single one smiling. In the distance, I could faintly hear the shrill barking of mutated animals on the outskirts of the slums. Who knows how much longer it'll last? Uncle Yang muttered vaguely, unsure if he meant the world or himself. The gray sun began to set. I was about to leave when Uncle Yang called out, wait. I turned to look. He cupped his hands together, murmured something, and when he opened them, a sunflower rested in his palm. It'll wilt by morning, but at least you can see the color of life for now. I took it and smiled. Thank you, Grandpa Yang. I hope someday I can try your floral tea at the botanical garden. He shook his head without a word. As I turned to leave, I heard him sigh. What future is there anymore? I went back and gave the flower to Anna. She was delighted. There used to be a patch of sunflowers in front of my house. Remember? My dog loved sleeping among them. Her voice trailed off as she spoke. It's so beautiful. What I didn't know was that during the time I hadn't given Han Yen a reply, the others involved in the secret research were going crazy with anxiety. Has Chen Jiao agreed yet? Everyone except Han Yen. He stopped going to the lab every day and just did odd jobs at the factory I managed. When asked, he said he was waiting. But with the end of the world looming, no one could afford to wait. So they came to pressure me again. I advise you to be cautious. If you're not absolutely sure, don't give her your ability. Their concerns were valid. What if I took Han Yan's ability and then refused to eliminate it? With so many abilities in one person, plus the power to split them, wouldn't I be a threat to society in no time? Han Yan let out a bitter laugh. In this society, what difference does revenge make? The other person was left speechless. During this time, I either wandered the slums or used my various abilities to show off by killing mutated animals that had gone mad and attacked people. All my actions seemed to revel in the superiority of these abilities, unwilling to become ordinary again. But Han Yen was certain. The reason she's acting like this is because she's already made up her mind. Before going to see Han Yen, I went to find Anna first. I want an ability. When I finished speaking, Anna didn't even look up. Which one catches your eye? Let's go get it. Yours. She froze for a moment. I smiled. This time, I have to take your ability. I had to take Anna and Han Yan's abilities to collect all the abilities in the world in the shortest time possible, then enter the gene pod to destroy them. Anna didn't even let me finish explaining why before she struck herself. You want it, so I'll give it. My eyes welled up a little. Anna said she had 2 things to tell me. First, you have to succeed. Okay? I don't want to be buried under the name Zhang Chang. Second, she touched my face. To take my ability, you have to take a hit. Don't worry, I'll go easy on you. Me. Wait, what's with that eager look in your eyes? After taking Han Yan's ability, he saw me off to the helicopter. Someone in a certain country had the ability of space teleportation. And I needed to use his ability to carry out this difficult ability recovery plan. The wind and sand stung my eyes, and I turned away without looking at him. Thanks. For what? His voice was a little hoarse. I forced a light-hearted smile. Thanks to you. I've at least had some happier memories. I haven't said this to anyone else. Actually. I paused. I'm a little scared. Scared of the world ending. Scared of failing my mission. And even more scared of collecting all the abilities only to die in the gene pod. Scared that the new world would have everything I hoped for. Except me. But I had to do it anyway. After all, the things I love, the people I love, are all waiting for me to save them. I'm pretty amazing, aren't I? Just like a superhero. I didn't hesitate any longer and stepped toward the plane, but was suddenly pulled back. The next second, Han Yen lowered his head and kissed me, amid the swirling wind and sand. We kissed before the apocalypse. Finally, he said, I'll wait for you. 5 years later, in the 5th year of the new era, society had resumed its normal operations. Because there were so many messes to clean up, I ended up working overtime in the building again. Thinking back to how I used to say I wanted to work overtime, I really wanted to punch myself. On my way home from work, a couple was amusing their 5-year-old grandson, telling him stories about how everyone had superpowers during the apocalypse 5 years ago, how impressive it was, but also how it was leading to their doom. Then one day, all their powers were taken away by a single person. Since then, the world had returned to normal. The older kid immediately chimed in. I know, that's a superhero. I couldn't help but laugh. The kid glared at me. What are you laughing at? I've seen her. You've seen her. Then tell me, what does she look like? She's more beautiful than a fairy. Way prettier than you. I choked. Back then, I thought I wouldn't survive. And I couldn't quite accept it. So on the way to reclaim the powers, I used my ability to give myself a stunningly beautiful face and a perfect figure, just to enjoy the sight for myself. I never expected this kid to see me like that. He probably never dreamed that the fairy from back then was now the office worker standing in front of him, reeking of work fatigue. I sighed helplessly. Turning my head, I saw Han Yen standing by the car on the other side of the road, wearing a coat, his arms open wide. I smiled and threw myself into his embrace. What are you doing here? Do I need a reason to pick up my wife from work? Also, I have something for you. I got into the car, and he took a medal from the back seat. It read Hero of Humanity. Even though your contributions can't be made public, the country secretly awarded you this medal. I rubbed the medal and laughed. Then I'll hang it by our bed, and I can brag about it for a lifetime. He kissed the corner of my mouth. How about watching the sunrise tomorrow? Can't. I have plans to go buy flowers with Anna. Her yard is fixed, and I promised to help her plant sunflowers. Then the day after. Can't either. I have to go to the botanical garden. Grandpa Yang saved a pack of flower tea just for me. Han Yen smiled wryly. My wife is really busy. He stroked my hair, turned the steering wheel, and merged into the traffic. Ahead, the sunset was bright, golden light shimmering. It's okay. We still have plenty of time ahead.